A very good evening, everyone. I am Anushka, GDSC Event Core, the host for this session. We have all gathered here to understand in depth about the Google Solution Challenge. What is it all about? What are the technicalities required? What's the eligibility? And so on. And obviously, how to ace it. So now we have Radhika Bansal, technical lead at GDSC IGDTUW, to give you a brief overview about the Google Solution Challenge.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, perfect. So, good evening, everybody. And I'm Radhika Bansal. I'm the technical lead of GDSC IGDTUW. And just like Anushka said, we are all here today to discuss everything about the Google Solution Challenge, what it is, how do you participate, why should you participate, and what's in store for you. So, let's dive right into it. So, the Google Solution Challenge is basically, in very simple words, it's a competition, but actually, it's a call to action. It's an opportunity for us as developers to use our skills and creativity to solve for real world challenges that align with global goals. So, the mission here basically is to tackle one of the 17 sustainable development goals that are set out by the United Nations. So, what are these goals? Let's look at that. So they're all listed down here on the screen. Some of them are, solving for no poverty, zero hunger, quality education, gender equality. We have life below water. We have affordable and clean energy, peace, justice, and strong institutions. And there's plenty of them. You can see all of them on the screen. So the idea is to solve for a real world problem that will ultimately help us in achieving one of these goals. Right. So now that we've understood the problem statement, let's move on to the eligibility criteria. So anybody who's a university student and part of GDSC can participate. You have to be a major, which over here means that you have to be over the age of 18. And one member from each team must be associated with the GDSC chapter. And each person can only join one team. So if we find out that there's a person who's a part of two teams, both of those teams will be disqualified. Make sure you join only one team. And the team building rules include that teams can be 1 to 4 people. So you can be a solo act or you can have up to 4 people. And like I said, one person on the team has to be a GDSC member. In case you find that none of your team members are a part of GDSC, you can join the GDSC IGDTUW chapter. In fact, let me just put out the link to join the chapter in the chat in case you want to do it right now. And here you go. And make sure your team representative at least is a GDSC member because they will be making the submission of your project on the behalf of the team. And except that, team members can be from different universities, different GDSC chapters, and even different countries. There's no foundations. And the registration link is also here. So I will quickly put that in the chat as well. You can look at their official page also. And registrations are already open. So now that we've understood the eligibility, let's look at the timeline. This will give us a broader sense of what the Google Solution Challenge looks like. So the registrations opened up on December 1, which means they're already open. So quickly register if you haven't already. And as soon as you register, the learn and build phase starts. So this learn and build phase is around 2.5 months long, and it goes on till February 22nd, which is basically the last day to make your submission. Submissions open on January 21. So you have around a month long time to make your submission between January 21 and February 22nd. Once you do that, there'll be a judgment round, and top 100 would be announced in the first week of April. And once that is done, you will be assigned mentors from Google and industry experts who will sit with you, who will help you enhance your projects, rework your projects, and elevate your projects. And you will resubmit your projects in the first week of May. As you can see here, top 100 resubmit their projects. And this cycle will repeat. There'll be another judgment round, and final 10 will be announced in late May. And these final 10 teams will be giving their live demo presentations on YouTube to the whole world in July. And following that, the 3 winners will also be selected. We'll come back to this kickoff event and what it is. So, but basically, if you make it till the end, this process goes on till July for you, and it's a really big deal. And coming to the more exciting part, the prizes, which I think everybody is really excited about. I already had a lot of questions about, what are the perks and prizes. So here it is. The top 100 teams receive customized mentorship from Googlers and experts, like we just discussed. If you make it to the top 100, each team gets a designated mentor who will help you in taking your solution to the next level. And along with that, you get a branded t-shirt and certificates. If you make it to final 10, following that, you will receive additional mentorship, which is another round of mentorship. You will receive a swag box and the opportunity to showcase your solution to the whole world on YouTube Live on the demo day. And all of these 10 people, the 7 teams, which will be the contest finalists, will be getting an additional cash prize of up to $4,000 per team. And the 3 winning teams will also get a cash prize of up to $12,000. So not just swags, but also you will get resources to, build your projects, to support your career and education if you win this challenge. And so before we come to the project submission, I would also like to add that this year, Google is planning to host a regional bootcamp in certain cities around January or February. More details about it are yet to come out. But that will basically be, it'll help you to sort of see how you can elevate your proposals. They'll share some tips and tricks with you to enhance your projects. And it will be a very good learning experience. So you should look out for that as well. And so coming to the project submission. So the submission is a very comprehensive process. You will be asked in detail about your projects, and some of the things that you will be asked about will include the project setup, which will basically talk about what sustainable goal have you picked, why have you picked that particular goal, and what was your inspiration. We'll have an implementation section, which will talk in detail about the technicalities of your project. What tech stack have you chosen? What Google technology have you chosen? It is mandatory to use at least one Google technology in your solution. And why have you chosen a particular platform or product and such. Then there'll be a feedback and testing section, which will basically focus on how well have you collected feedback, how well have you tried to incorporate that feedback in your projects, and how well have you tested your code and how adaptable your code is to, make changes in case there's another bug found or something like that. And there's a completion of solution section, which basically focuses on how effectively does your solution offer basically assistance to the particular goal that you've chosen. And this also includes a demo video, which will be a video of up to 2 minutes that will focus on a working application. And that is basically used to showcase how an actual user can interact with your solution. And the last section, as you can see on the screen, is scalability, which talks about what are your future plans with the solution, how can you scale it for a larger audience and such. The judgment criteria is also based on exactly these points. It is divided into 2 sections. We have an impact section, as you can see on the screen. This will basically talk about, again, why have you chosen a particular goal? How effectively have you solved it? Have you established clearly what goal you're solving for? How effectively are you handling feedback, and what are your future plans? And then there is also a technology section in the judging criteria, which focuses on your technical applications, architectures, high-level components, why you've chosen a particular tech stack, how well have you iterated and solved for, bugs and stuff. And it also includes a large weightage is also, I think, put on the demo video that you record. So that is about the judging criteria. And coming back to this kickoff event, so this year Google is planning an official Solution Challenge kickoff event on January 11. The exact agenda is yet to be revealed, but we believe they'll be talking about the challenge and, they might share some tips and tricks. They might talk about the regional boot camps. So it'll be a really helpful thing to participate in this kickoff event and see what they have to share. And if you want to do that, you should scan this QR code and RSVP. This will be hosted on the GDSC event platform, so you will not be able to attend if you don't RSVP. You can scan this QR code, and once again, let me put it out in the chat as well. Yep. And don't worry if you couldn't catch that submission or judgment criteria. We'll share this slide deck with you as well. And before we go, we have a very small 10-second AV, which has glimpses from previous year's solution challenges. So let's view it. So as the AV said, you can go to the official website for any more details that you require. In case you still have any queries, you can reach out to us. We'll also float a Q&A form at the end of the session. And yeah, I hope I'll see all of you participating and bringing out some really innovative solutions this year. Thank you. Back to you, Anushka.
Thank you so much, Radhika Di, for sharing all the relevant information. It will be very helpful for each one of us. So before we move ahead, if any one of you is facing some issue in joining the meet, there's another Google Meet link that has been provided in the chat section. You can join that link also. Okay, so now it's the time to call upon our speaker for today. It is with great pleasure that I introduce our distinguished speaker. This individual is not just a rising star, but a force to be reckoned with in the dynamic realm of technology. He has been selected as a participant for esteemed Google Summer of Code 2023, top 10 finalists in the Google Solution Challenge 2022, earning a coveted spot among the best and brightest minds in the global coding community. With a profound inclination towards open source, our speaker embodies the spirit of collaboration and knowledge sharing. Beyond the line of code, he is a passionate Flutter and Android developer as well. So without further ado, let's extend our warm welcome for our esteemed speaker, Mr. Akash Srivastava.
Okay, it really was an awesome intro. I mean, hello guys, my name is Akash, and I would really try to, guide towards solution challenge. And first of all, I mean, it's really a moment of honor for me to speak in this university, because I mean, we all know this is such a recognized university, and I mean, the students from here, I mean, every day I open LinkedIn, someone from this university is doing some great things out there. I mean, that's really awesome. And the brief, I mean, I would really give a shout to the person that gave the brief about the solution challenge. I mean, that was really descriptive and to the point, very clear and concise. But I mean, from my point of view, it was a little scary and really little intimidating. I mean, for when I was participating back in second year, I mean, the foremost thing I missed that time was not having a GDSC. I mean, I really envy the guys from second year or first year who have these GDSC opportunity in your college or university, because I mean, you get to know about these competitions when you are in a community setting. And I mean, no best place to be there to be in a GDSC club or a GDSC member. So I mean, to not waste much of your guys' time, I mean, I would really take you through my journey for the solution challenge. And I mean, for me, it was a really new experience. I mean, back in 2022, when I was really trying to explore that tech space, and I was really into hackathons. I mean, right from the beginning, I mean, in the first year I had this thing in my mind, okay, I will do some DSA and competitive stuffs, and crack some company. Or I mean, that's some basic stuff you get into when you get into first year, and you know how what coding is and programming. But really the mindset shifted when I got into the hackathon. I mean, I really loved at that time development. So in first year I targeted like, okay, everyone is going with the web development, I mean, let's try to do something new. So I mean, I took a risky shot, because I belong from a tier 3 college, so I had very less support for, people who are in tech space from my college. So I had to, take this risk of going into mobile dev space and then learn Android and Flutter. And I mean, because Flutter was also at that time a very emerging technology, and I mean, it was new, and you had to learn, but the documents were great. So I guess I learned pretty quick. And for me, once I learned some about Android and Flutter stuff, I mean, I still remember in back in second year, I was zero confident about sitting in a hackathon and actually winning it. I had this thing in my mind that I have to go with the bare minimum. I mean, for me, it was like I just have to, build a project, and let's see where it goes. I mean, I would take part in any kind of hackathons or great opportunity. So how did I came to know about Solution Challenge? I mean, uh, as I told you, I was at that time looking for hackathons, and then I saw this opportunity like, okay, GDSC or maybe global GDSC is hosting a competition on a Solution Challenge. And I had no idea about what GDSC was at that time, and or what Solution Challenge is. So what I did was actually go onto their website and explore something. I watched some videos on YouTube also regarding Solution Challenge, and then I got to know like what really Google Solution Challenge is about. And back in I was in second year when I started to actually build some project, but still I had no good knowledge about how to build scalable projects, and put some work. I mean, I didn't know how to use GitHub back at that time. I had no idea how to make a scalable application or maybe a project that could be used in a vast capacity. So when I started building my preparing for Solution Challenge, I mean, building the projects, I had this one bare minimum thing in my mind that, okay, I have to just build a project, and it should be well enough to be represented in my resume. And I mean, that's all from for me. But as I got into Solution, I saw that, okay, I mean, there's something I could do better in my Solution. And the very worst part I would say with me was that I had a trouble finding teammates back at time, because Google Solution Challenge or any kind of hackathon you would take part in upcoming future, or whatever year you are. I mean, teammates are real important, because if you are not a team player, I mean, you won't be able to do good in any kind of setting. Because what happens is, once you are doing your project individually, you know what pace you have to go it, you know what stuff you know. But in a team setting, what happens is, actually you have to divide them, because you get about as you seen into the timeline, you get about 1 month for building a solution. And the difference between a normal hackathon and a Google Solution Challenge is in a normal hackathon you have about 24 to 48 hours to build a solution, or maybe you can call it a prototype. But Solution Challenge gives you enough time to actually target this big problem. And if you see, there were 17 sustainable goals. I mean, if you really look them clearly, you will find them, they are really very easy. I mean, zero hunger, poverty, these are topics like we have been studying from, right from the school days. But what actually United Nation, what actually Google wants, or what actually these companies want, these are students to actually build something innovative. Because industry people do not have that innovative capacity to think in those dimensions that we students can. And even if they have the capability to build the stuff, what is really important in the Solution Challenge is the impact part. I mean, the more impact can you create from your solutions, that's the really deal changer. Because uh, the the focused stuff on Google Solution Challenge is if you are building a solution. I mean, for example, you are building a normal website and you are using some server or whatever kind of backend you are using. It really doesn't matter how complex your application is, how much good your architectural things is, but what is more important is how much impact can your application create when it is presented at a global scale. Because for example, even if you are building a product, you want the end goal is to be it to be used by people. And if the product cannot be easily used by the people, then there is no question of how good your coding was, how good architecture you used into the application. And once you get to the point that yeah, your application will do great in a scalable setting, then you actually focus on how to make it more better, and the users are comfortable using it. So I mean, these were some things I didn't know before I was diving into Google Solution Challenge. But still, as I told you, I was a confused student. I mean, like for second or third year people who really don't know how to get started in the hackathon space, or get along with the teammates. For me, there was one thing that also went a little off the path. Was I had to participate with someone outside the country. And I mean, this was something because I couldn't find some good students from my university. So I was actually looking for people. And this in the kickoff session only. You get a chance to actually meet new people from outside your country, or maybe from different universities. So that's the area I made my shot. So I mean, first thing is to find teammates, because if the more powerful your team is, I mean, the more diverse you can think for your solutions. And for example, in my application, I was targeting for mobile application, so I knew Flutter development. But what I needed is someone to know the design aspects, someone to handle things that could be related to more on the other parts, so that I could focus more on building the stuff, and that person could really redesign and shape it. So once I found this one, I mean, at the end I had we are only two people in our team. And our our thinking of winning was like, okay, we had to just build this project, and let's see if you could also maybe. Because if you see a lot of participants, there are the teams that have actually won solution challenge. There are consist of 3 people, 4 people. And I mean, that's the appropriate amount also. Because uh, once you have 3 to 4 people, 2 people can focus on coding stuff, and 2 or more people can focus on the design stuff, or maybe planning stuff of how the application will work, and all those things that are really important. But it was a little tough to manage with 2 people, but still things worked out. Because we were focusing right from the very start. And one more thing is, once you are taking part into solution challenge, I would recommend that don't just go coding all the things, and do not just focus more on building whatever project you are doing. But instead, at least spend 1 week or 1 week and a half, you can say, to actually realize what you are going to build, actually plan out the things. And in second year, I was I was a little confused, because I didn't know really these cool technology. Like, I mean, you can now I know that we can use Figma or Adobe XD for designing our stuff, or maybe prototyping our solution. But back then, what we used to do is use sketch pens and paper to actually craft our solution, and then we used to send it through chat and do a normal Google Meet to discuss. There was a little problem with the language part, because the person was from outside the country, so I had a little language problem. But okay, things really worked out. And once once we spent about 2 to 3 weeks just designing. I mean, we were pretty late, because we had already spent 2 to 3 weeks actually thinking about what our application will. And at that time, I didn't realize that it was a crucial step. And I mean, that I can say was a lucky mistake, because I spent about 2 3 weeks just thinking about what the solution would be, what themes I have to use, what features should be there. And actually getting into the shoes of the victims. I mean, and from the victims, because my application was regarding the goal number 2, which is zero hunger. So in the zero hunger problem, you are basically targeting people who are from who are in the poverty areas, or who do not have the required income to actually manage things for themselves. So these were some key factors that we have to focus in, and we also have to think about how our application would be easy to use, because uh, if you are delivering a product to someone, and you are expecting him or her to understand each and everything about your product, then it's not possible. I mean, you have to make it as simple and as innovative as possible if you really want to make into the top 3 categories of Google Solution Challenge. And I'm giving you the I'm giving you the top notch part, because I already know that you guys are capable of doing the things, because you have already put a lot of work till now. And I mean, if you give a little more thought process of how you have to build your solutions, I mean, you can actually make it to the top 10 or top 3 categories. It's not that very hard. But I would recommend you to, once you are in the planning phase of how your solution would be, or how what teammates you have to choose, you have to be very careful, because sometimes what happens is two people or one people can lose motivation on the way, and that could really lead to your downfall. Because if you have put if you have put work of 15 or 30 days, and then what happens is some teammate is not able to do the amount of work that you want, or maybe your designs are lacking somewhere, or the prototype is lacking. So I just want to make sure that the your team has the proper amount of people who can you drive through success. Because what happens is, for me it was like we were two people, and I had this very thoughts going on, like, okay, this person is outside from country, and I really don't know him or her very well. And what if he or she loses in between, and my project is so. I had this bare minimum mindset that, okay, whatever happens, I will take the responsibility of whole project. I had to complete it, whether with her or without her. I have to complete the project and actually submit it. And this is something the leader, if you are leading your team there, then you have to take that responsibility of taking your solutions till the end. Because what happens, I've seen, I mean, I've seen great teams losing at the end, because what happens is, some parts are lacking. They are not focusing on areas that should have been really thought about before. So I'm saying that 2 or 3 weeks of the start of the solution challenge is really crucial, because uh, you that's the time when you are actually have not done any coding part, but you have to plan all the stuff of how things will happen. Because if you have a good solid design plan, I mean, Figma is a great tool right now. I mean, you can design your application first there, and then see how it looks on the prototype thing. And what happens is, once you have a design or maybe a theme for your application, then the coding part is simple. Because, and in the simple, in the sense, if you have the right amount of developers in your team, then the development part would take about like 1 month. I mean, the maximum it would take. And in fact, even if you leave some features behind, if you have implemented the right set of features, because you have took your time discussing what are your most important features, and if you just put it there, I mean, I don't see a problem here in winning the solution challenge. Because uh, I realized very much later, once I was submitting the project, that even if some features would have not been completed, I mean, still we could have been. Because uh, the most important features of the application were implemented at the end of the time, and our theme was completely awesome. Because, and I mean, there was this thing like we submitted our project at the nth hour. I mean, it was 31st date. I mean, I don't really remember what month it was, and 11:59 was the deadline, and we submitted our project. I mean, at 11:50. But the great thing was our solution was completely okay with our side. So if you do not have the confidence from your side, because even if you go into the entrepreneur space, if you do not have belief for your project or your product, then how could you expect a Googler or maybe United Nations or maybe whatever global scale you are going to represent your solution to win that? So by the end of the whole thing, you have to have this belief that your product could win, even if it you do not qualify for top 100 teams or top 50 teams. I mean, back then it was top 50 teams of the criteria, so the criteria has changed to top 100 teams. So even if you do not qualify for top 100 teams, what is the most fruitful thing for you, that you have this really great product at the end of 2 months, and definitely you have this confidence in yourself that what I have built is actually a really I mean, a great project that I could display to any other people or put in my resume. So the thing I would say is, solution challenge, you have to be more about how good you can make your product. I mean, it's not even about winning the solution. In fact, I mean, I know how good it feels to really see the end of the tunnel, to make your product to the end at a global scale and then represent at the demo day. I mean, uh, firstly you qualify, as you see in the timeline, firstly you qualify or top 100 teams, and then you receive these great swags, and then after there is a 1 month period of mentorship. So in those 1 month, you actually are interacting with Google experts. So if you made a cut to top 100, I mean, if you put really good amount of work, and you made a cut to top 100, you believed in your solution, and you created your product, and you have made the cut, then you have this 1 month extra grace period where you can actually interact with the Google experts. And there is one more thing: once you are at that phase, go book your slots with the right experts, because what happens is sometimes you need help on the UI UX part, and what happens, the UI UX mentor is already booked by some other team, and then you are not able to get good advice. You have to manage with a coding mentor or anything which you do not wanted the help. So that is one thing you have to keep in mind, that if you made a cut to top 100, then the top 10 part is a little more tough than top 100, because then your solution will be judged in a very different perspective. It will be seen from end to end. Top 100 is just about how much impact can you create, how much impact your solution could have created, and top 10 is actually how architecturally sound, how good your coding part was, how good your solution work, it does not crashes and all the things. So once you're interacting with the Google experts, keep in mind that I have to get all the things out, like what features could be updated. I mean, ask the Google expert about how the solution could have been improved, or if you would have the judge, how would you have rated our solution, what are the areas that need to be focused. I mean, once I was interacting with my Flutter expert, he actually takes sessions on GDG also. So he opened the code base. I mean, he saw all the GitHub files, and then I needed help on the Flutter part. I mean, the backend, because our backend was actually on the cloud. So what we needed help on was to fetch data from the storage and actually show that into the application. So there was something that was not working very perfectly. So he really gave me a really good advice on what a workout could be for that solution. And that is one part, I guess, that really worked. And then after that, once I got selected for the top 10 teams, then we actually present our solution at the demo day, and then we are asked questions. And I mean, you do not have to worry about questions and everything. I mean, they make the process really smooth for you guys. I mean, you do not have to put any kind of mind in there. But that journey till top 10 is a little, I mean, it's more about uh, how much planning, how much hard work you have put in those 2 months. Because as I told you, the first 2 weeks of the solution challenge will put you ahead. I mean, at least with a lot of other participants. And if you really focus on how your solution would be, I mean, even if at the end of the coding part you're not able to complete the features, but you are able to put the most important features and you have the right theme for your application or website, or I mean, whatever solution. I mean, I guess I remember IoT and hardware solutions winning solution challenge. I mean, they had this great idea and they executed it perfectly. So whatever project you is, it doesn't matter, but keep in mind that first that project needs to be fully approved from your side. I mean, even if there is a second thought in your mind that, I mean, this product, I cannot believe, I mean, this would win the solution. I mean, if this is a thought in your mind, I mean, there is something that needs to be changed in the application. And doesn't matter. I mean, I would recommend that take up to 3 weeks. I mean, maximum 3 weeks, because otherwise you won't get sufficient amount of time to code your stuff. And the coding part also depends. If you have 4 people in your team and 2 to 3 people are coders, then I mean, you can actually manage that time according. So for me it was 2 people, and she doesn't have that good knowledge about Flutter development, so she was focusing more on the design part, and I was focusing on the code. So I had to keep about 1 month margin time, because though she had some idea about the coding, but most of the responsibility I had to take for the coding part. So for me it was, I had to keep 1 month duration of coding all the things. I mean, uh, at that time I was spending 7 6 7 hours coding the solution, and because the workload of coding became a lot much on me, and the designing part had to handled by her, and the video part or whatever the necessary important things are that needs to be focused upon. So we actually divided the work. By the end of the third week we had things divided up, but still uh, the if you have 4 people on the team, then you have to keep this timeline in your mind that okay, the coding will take about 3 weeks, or maybe because we have 3 people coding the stuff, so we could take about 3 weeks coding, and then we can focus more on how the UI UX of the application would be. And I mean, after in the top 10, I remember, I mean, once you reach top 10, there is a cool amount of recognition you get. I mean, I received 1000 US dollars into my account. I mean, after conversion it would be 80,000 rupees. At that time US dollar was equal to 1 US dollar, so 80 rupees at that time. So after conversion I got 80,000. I mean, in second year, I mean, that's a really good feeling. And apart from what the swags I got, I mean, cool goodies, the most important thing was to see my solution at the end of the tunnel. I mean, to represent myself at a global level with my solution, and purely believing on my teammate, on myself, on my solution. I mean, that actually really worked out for me. And uh, I hope I have covered most of the parts of my experience. I mean, you can also go with sketching if you are not comfortable with the design tools. You could go with the sketching part. I mean, I did sketching because I didn't know Figma back then, so you can actually do that thing. And keep in mind to use as much Google technologies as you can, because I had this question asked up in the last event that what if we are using one stack. And so just keep in mind that you have to use as much Google solutions, Google technologies as you can. So my solution had a lot of Google technology. So I was using Flutter, I was also using TensorFlow, I was using Google Cloud, I was using Firebase. So that also gave me a really good advantage to be into the top 10 finalist. And I mean, yeah, that covers a lot of things. So if you had any questions, then you can ask me.
Thank you very much, Akash. Your insights have been truly invaluable, offering us a wealth of knowledge, and your journey was really inspirational. So now I open the floor for any questions for the speaker. You can ask your doubt in the chat box or you can raise your hand. Also, I'll be providing a Google form link where you can ask your doubts if you do not want to ask them publicly here. Okay, so we have Kanika Jain. Kanika, you can unmute and speak.
Okay, so my question from Akash is like I'm a person who don't have any good amount of experience about hackathons and competitions like that. So what will be your advice to someone like me to approach to Google Solution Challenge?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's a really good question, and I could personally relate to this stuff because 2 years back I had also done not any took any part in, I mean, hackathons. I mean, Solution Challenge was my first global, I mean, hackathon. I mean, Solution Challenge is when I started to take part into the hackathons. Before that, I was just a dumb student doing normal coding stuff, and then a lot much focused onto cracking a company. But once I tried to build something, I mean, I had built a small projects, and I mean those really help you to scale up. So if you have built some projects around any technology, I mean, whatever you are learning, if you are learning website development, then if you have built anything around that, or maybe if you have built some Python projects, it would be really great to scale up from them, take up things from them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so next we have Vanshika Agarwal.
Hello, Akash. I just wanted to ask that except for Flutter, what all Google technology can I use to make it easier? For example, if I'm doing web development on HTML, so what Google technologies can I use so that I can make my process easier?
Okay. For the Google Tech, I mean, it's not limited to Google technologies only. You can also use other technologies, but the thing is, it gives you an edge. So, for example, if you're building a website, as you said, using HTML, then the best would be to use Firebase for storing your data, and also you can use Google Cloud. So, if you are deploying your solution, I mean, it, it's a little complex stuff, but still, if you have gone to that step, if you're deploying the solution, then you could possibly deploy it on Google Cloud. Or even if you're not deploying, you can use a lot of features from Google Cloud, like the storage functionality. And then if you have something related to machine learning in your website, I mean, if you are building the project, you have this in mind, okay, there is something that involves machine learning stuff, then you can use some TensorFlow library also. So there are a lot of Google technologies. And removing Flutter and Android because they are specific to mobile development, you have Cloud, Firebase, TensorFlow, and this is one progressive web apps are also there of Google, so that you can also use.
Okay, Akash, thank you.
Yeah.
Manya, you may ask now.
Thank you, Anushka. Hi, Akash. First of all, I must say that you have a fantastic record. And when I was listening to your intro, I was completely in awe of all the things that you've done. So, all the best to you for your future endeavors as well. I hope I'm not stepping over the line if I ask this, but is it fine if I ask you what your idea exactly was? Because I was struggling with finding the main idea even during Smart India Hackathon. It's like everybody already has another version of your idea, or it's already in the market and there's not something completely unique that you can come up with. So is it fine if I ask you for your idea?
Yeah, I mean, my project idea, I mean, the one that was selected for Solution
Yeah,
Challenge.
as in that only.
Okay, so I picked this topic zero hunger, and I I mean we were searching through a lot of topics like you or maybe any other candidate who is looking to build some solutions. So firstly, we went to building some solution regarding poverty. Then we thought the better would be to do something related to hunger because I see a lot of this in our country also. So I thought maybe if I took hunger as my main goal, then maybe I could definitely diverse my application to also cover the poverty thing and also cover the goal number that I don't remember the goal number, but it was education. So and I actually did also. I mean, in at the end of my application, I ended up covering two, three, four goals that are first was education, employment, then end hunger and poverty. So these were four, five goals that I ended up covering. So the another idea was I was learning GitHub at that time, and I saw this very cool feature of sponsoring people there. So and don't and that donate button. So I that feature really clicked into my mind that okay, I can put a donate thing into my application also. So uh, on one click you can donate any amount. I mean anything like money or food or any command, anything you want to donate. So that was one feature, and then once we were planning the things, we had this theme set up that okay, what are our victims? I mean, the most impacted people we knew were people who do not have the right amount of employment opportunities, or people like basically farmers who do not get right amount of money for their produces into the market. So we also aim to target those people, so that these are the people who get the most impacted by these hunger or poverty kinds of things. So we pick these people and try to do something for them. So we included the feature for making more employment opportunities for them, and connecting the local farmers from directly to the produce to the consumers. So we had that feature also into the application. And then we also created this one awareness section also. I mean, that was regarding that what if someone is hosting a campaign, or if there is going to be a drive for these people, then they could post that thing onto, like, it works like kind of a LinkedIn post or a Instagram feed kind of thing. And there is a post that will be displayed regarding the awareness. And there are news also running on the top of which people are getting affected, or what is the situation and that kind of things.
All right, thank you, Akash. Understood. And
Yep.
also, if I want to view your prototype or any sort of code glimpse of the code
Yeah,
that
I
you wrote.
mean, I have this GitHub of my solution. I could share that. You can check out. I mean, yeah, I forgot to cover one more thing with you guys. Like, you have to submit your solution through GitHub and try to include a very good readme there, because the readme would include every details of how did you build your solution, how did you have to run the solution. Because what people do is they create a Node.js backend, and then they forget to mention that they also have a backend. So when someone is running their application, what they see is nothing coming up. So you have to clearly mention all the things, that okay, I have also created a Node.js server, the file is here, the URL is this, and how to run. I mean, you have to list. I mean, though they are Google experts, they want you to list each and everything down of how basically the application will run from everything. So if it's npm start or maybe flutter run, then you have to display all the commands into GitHub. So I mean, I've pasted the link of my GitHub solution for my and the project, so you guys can look and get a view about how things would work.
Thank you so much, Akash. Good day.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we have a few questions in the Google form as well. I'll just put it forward. Okay, so the first one is, do you think collaborating with a team member outside country also helped you as an individual?
Yes, I mean, that is something I could say a game changer, because the person that was outside the country didn't have the mindset like my own, because she could think things in a very different perspective, because she have grown up in a different way, and I mean, she could approach the problem in a very different way, in a very unique way than people from our country can. I mean, I would limit that thing to something related. I mean, it's something about the mindset also, how people think. But still, you know, if you interact with, I mean, it's a really common thing. If you interact with someone from outside the country, you'll definitely have difference in culture and different in ways of how you grew up on various things changes. So you get a really different perspective of how things should work. So definitely it was really a game changer, but still I had very much doubts, very much confusion. It was a really risky decision, because firstly I do not knew this person before, and there was language barrier. So she was from Turkey University, and I mean, the language was way, though we were communicating through English, but still, the accent and all that, it's really kind of problematic. And again, to discuss everything through Google Meet, and then not in a sitting way of discussing things, so it was kind of difficult. But yeah, we worked out things. I mean, uh, things really took shape after some time.
Okay. Another question that we have is something related to the registration. As in registration form, the participants have only registered themselves. What about the team members? And the person is asking that how to collectively register, and any tips to form a team, like how to form a team.
uh, I mean, in the registration part, I guess the members have to register individually. After that, you could, once you are submitting the solution, then you mention your teammate's name. A Google form comes, and then you mention the name of your participant. So that's what actually happened.
Yeah, just to step in here, just like Akash said, each of you will have to register separately on the registration form. In case somebody missed that, I'll send that in the chat again. And when you submit the project, your team representative makes the submission.
Yeah, I mean, one person has to submit the solution. I mean, that's basically the team leader. And most importantly, she should be a GDSC member, GDSC lead. So for me, back then, I was not a GDSC member or a GDSC lead also. So I had to, apply through her. So because she was GDSC lead back at her university. So, I mean, you have to do that.
Okay. Also, someone is asking that what are the Google technologies that we could use? If you can list some of them.
Okay. In my solution, I remember I used approximately a lot of Google technologies. So if Flutter is covering, then basically Android is covering. Then you get Flutter development, Android. Then there is Firebase. Then there is Google Cloud. Then there is TensorFlow. Then there is progressive web apps, and I mean, that's a lot of things. But still, if I'm missing something, you can just Google it up. Of what technologies can you use? That's what comes into my mind.
Okay. Also, there's a question that I am not 18 yet, but would be before the deadline of the submission of this challenge, that is 22nd of February. So can I register for this challenge?
Uh, yes, I guess, because um, you are turning 18, so yes, of course you can.
Also, there's a question that how did you manage to get a team outside India?
I mean, that is in the I remember it correctly. It was after kickoff event. There happened an event regarding teammates lining up. So I do not remember exactly what happened. It was kind of, I mean, the GDSC Global only organized this teammate kind of thing where you were getting 5 minute slots with different kind of people, and you were pairing up, and you were discussing things. I mean, these were really random people who were also looking for teammates, and there was also a chat area. And I'm really sorry, I do not completely remember what event it was, whether it was from Global GDSC. I mean, yeah, definitely it was from GDSC Global. But did I filled any particular form for it, or it was for everyone? I don't remember it. But yeah, there is a team space. I mean, if you just do a little bit of googliness, you could find it there, that there is a teammates finding area kind of thing.
Okay, so yeah, I think this sums up all the Q&A. And if anyone has any other doubt of any type still left, you can ask in the Google form post session. We will soon share a FAQ document where we'll try to incorporate all the queries. So let's wrap up the session now. On behalf of everyone present, again, I want to express our deepest gratitude to you, Akash, for sharing your expertise and passion with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. I mean, it really was an honor for me to speak today, and I hope you guys have got some good advice. I've tried to cover all it up, but still, if you have any doubts, I mean, you can always ping me up on LinkedIn. Thank you very much.
Just a minute. Akash, can you please drop your LinkedIn ID in the chat box so that the students can contact you for any question?
Okay. Okay. Okay, I've dropped it in the chat.
Okay, so if anyone else has any doubts, you can ping him on the LinkedIn. He has dropped his LinkedIn account. Thank you everyone for your presence. It was great, Akash.
Thank you, guys. I mean, have a nice day. Bye.
Bye. Have a nice day, everyone.